think that influenced my decision, though, right? That didn't, right? But we had a lot of competition for this, and Alabama's getting it. Huntsville in particular. So congratulations, everybody. Katie, congratulations. This will result in more than 30,000 Alabama jobs and probably much more than that, and hundreds of millions of dollars of investment. And that's billions, because it can't be millions. It's billions and billions of dollars. Most importantly, this decision will help America defend and dominate the high frontier, as they call it. I want to thank Secretary Pete Hegseth. He's doing a fantastic job. And Secretary of the Air Force Troy Mink. Troy, thank you very much. Great job you're doing, Troy. This is such a big deal. This is one that everybody wanted to know. What are you doing? I also want to thank Senators Katie Britt, and I want to give my condolences. Your grandmother, her grandmother just passed away. She was 100, right?
100, and she loves you, Mr. President.
Well, and she was very proud of you.
Thank you very much.
Very, very proud of you. So thank you, Katie.
Wonderful woman.
She must have been. To produce you indirectly, I can tell you she had to be. Tommy Tuberville, who's a great coach. And I won't say anything about what happened with Alabama football this weekend.
Let's leave that out.
But you're not used to that, right? You're not used to that. But Tommy, Auburn won, is right. They did. So you're happy. Tommy's been a great senator, as you know, and a fantastic guy all around. He was also a tremendous coach. House Armed Services Committee Chair Mike Rogers. Thank you, Mike. Where's Mike? Mike, thank you very much. Doing great, Mike. Representatives Barry Moore, all great friends, Robert Adderholt, Gary Palmer, and Dale Strong. Thank you all very much, fellas. Appreciate it. In my first term, I created a thing called Space Force. So important. You know, we were losing the race in space very badly to China and to Russia. And now we're far and away #1 in space. And reestablish Space Com with a mission to protect American space assets and detect any threat to our homeland. We initially selected Huntsville for the Spacecom headquarters, yet those plans were wrongfully obstructed by the Biden administration. And as you know, they moved them to a different locale. And today we're moving forward with what we want to do and the place that we want to have this. And this will be there for hopefully hundreds of years. That's where it's going to be. I will say I want to thank Colorado. The problem I have with Colorado, one of the big problems, they do mail-in voting. They went to all mail-in voting. So they have automatically crooked elections. And we can't have that. When a state is for mail-in voting, that means they want dishonest elections, because that's what that means. So that played a big factor also. In Huntsville, Spacecom will play a key role in building the Golden Dome, as you know. That's going to be a big thing. Everybody wants to be a participant in it. Missile Defense Shield, we're going to be having a Golden Dome that the likes of which nobody's ever seen before. The finest, the best. And by the way, Canada called. They want to be a part of it, and that'll be great. But Canada wants very much to be included in that, and we're going to work something out with them, I hope. It will also ensure that our technological capabilities, of which we're way ahead of anybody else, there's nobody close, remain unmatched long into the future. So I'd like to ask Secretary Hegseth to say a few words. He was very much a part of it. And really, everybody behind me was. Every one of these people would call me and lobby me. I said, Katie, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I know what you want. She said, that's right, sir. That's what I want. And they got their way. So I just want to congratulate. These are really special people. They're politicians in many ways, but they're great patriots, I think even more so than politicians. So they fought very hard to get it, and it's an honor to give it to Huntsville. Pete, say a few words, please.
Okay, guys, tell me what you think about this Space Force. President Trump is talking about getting this Space Force and just putting it out there. That there's going to be this big move towards space. He said that basically, that it was stopped by the Biden administration, right? And so right, that's what they're saying. It was stopped by the Biden administration, or at least Biden put it down and didn't do anything with it, right? And so what President Trump is talking about that he wants to do is he wants to move it to Alabama, and that's where the headquarters of Space Force will be. And so I don't know. Tell me what you think about Space Force. Do you believe in Space Force? Do you believe that we need it, or is it just a waste of taxpayers' money? And for me, I just kind of have my own opinion about it. Space Force doesn't seem real to me. It seems like a waste of taxpayers' money, but I don't know. What do you think? And put your comments in on the whole idea behind this Space Force that is getting ready to occur. This big idea that we're going to be going to space. This is what is believed, and that we're going to be using space to actually fight off aliens and all of the rest of this kind of idea. And so give me your thoughts on Space Force. So yeah, all right. Just John is saying what a joke. And let's see. Steven Snook, you say the only hope for America is giving Israel everything they need. Okay. All right. So okay. And then and let's see. A slap in the face, right? In the face. Space Force is a slap in the face. Let's see. Vincent has said that. And then stay in colorful Colorado. Okay. All right. Well, some people want to keep Space Force. Somebody's going to come up and talk about it. Let me just play it one more time so you guys actually hear what he's talking about, Space Force. I want to go back because there was a few people weren't on before, and let you just hear it.
A place called Huntsville, Alabama, forever to be known from this point forward as Rocket City. Okay,
Rocket City.
So Huntsville, Alabama. We love Alabama. I only won it by about 47 points. I don't think that influenced my decision.
So do we need another NASA? That's
Right?
a good question.
But we had a lot of competition for this, and Alabama's getting it, Huntsville in particular. So congratulations, everybody. Katie, congratulations. This will result in more than 30,000 Alabama jobs and probably much more
Everything
than
is
that.
about
Hundreds
jobs,
of
huh?
billions of dollars of investment, and that's billions because it can't be millions. It's billions and billions of dollars. Most importantly, this decision will help America defend and dominate the high frontier, as they call it. I want to thank Secretary Pete Hegseth. He's doing a fantastic job. And Secretary of the Air Force, Troy Mink. Troy, thank you very much. Great job you're doing, Troy. This is such a big deal. This is one that everybody wanted to know. What are you doing? I also want to thank Senators Katie Britt, and I want to give my condolences. Her grandmother just passed away. She was 100, right?
100, and she loves you, Mr. President.
Well, and she was very proud of you.
Thank you very much.
Very, very proud of you. So thank you, Katie.
Wonderful woman.
She must have been. To produce you indirectly, I can tell you she had to be. Tommy Tuberville, who's a great coach. And I won't say anything about what happened with Alabama football this weekend,
Let's leave that out.
but you're not used to that, right? You're not used to that. But Tommy, Auburn won, is right.
All right. Well, let's
So
see.
you're happy.
Let me see.
Tommy's been
Yeah,
a great senator, and fantastic.
Everybody's great. Everybody's fantastic. Your mom, your grandma was great, and everybody, they seem to know one another quite well. I guess they're pretty comfortable. Okay, so all right, over here is Space Force. More hazardous waste for Alabama. Well, I will agree with that, Paleo. And then John H. You say it's all part of grand lie. There's no space. We never went to the moon, and the earth is flat, covered by a firmament. All right. Praise God. And I believe it, but again, I can't say it here because the censorship. So we'll just say that let's let everybody think what they'd like to think, So, but again, as we look at this space farce, this is something that is Force, coming. It's coming to Alabama. Now, again, Trump is famous for saying we're going to produce a lot of jobs. I hope maybe some people get some benefit out of this. Perhaps maybe some people get jobs, sweeping the floors and mopping and custodial jobs and security guard jobs and more badges on people. So maybe that'll be what's going to happen. Space Force. That's what President Trump is getting out there saying. He said that Joe Biden and Biden administration kind of like put the Space Force on hold. He's moving forward with it now.
Fantastic guy all around. He was also a tremendous coach. House Armed Services Committee Chair Mike Rogers. Thank you, Mike. Where's Mike? Mike, thank you very much. Doing great, Mike. Representatives Barry Moore, all great friends, Robert Adderholt, Gary Palmer, and Dale Strong. Thank you all very much, fellas. Appreciate it. In my first term, I created a thing called Space Force. So important. We were losing the race in space very badly to China and to Russia. And now we're far and away #1 in space, and reestablished Space Com with a mission to protect American space assets and detect any threat to our homeland. We initially selected Huntsville for the Spacecom headquarters, yet those plans were wrongfully obstructed by the Biden administration. And as you know, they moved them to a different locale. And today we're moving forward with what we want to do and the place that we want to have this. And this will be there for hopefully hundreds of years. That's where it's going to be. I will say I want to thank Colorado. The problem I have with Colorado, one of the big problems, they do mail-in voting. They went to all mail-in voting. So they have automatically crooked elections. And we can't have that. When a state is for mail-in voting, that means they want dishonest elections, because that's what that means. So that played a big factor also. In Huntsville, Spacecom will play a key role in building the Golden Dome, as you know. That's going to be a big thing. Everybody wants to be a participant in it. Missile Defense Shield, we're going to be having a Golden Dome that the likes of which nobody's ever seen before. The finest, the best. And by the way, Canada called. They want to be a part of it, and that'll be great. But Canada wants very much to be included in that, and we're going to work something out with them, I hope. It will also ensure that our technological capabilities, of which we're way ahead of anybody else, there's nobody close, remain unmatched long into the future. So I'd like to ask Secretary Hegseth to say a few words. He was very much a part of it. And really, everybody behind me was. Every one of these people would call me and lobby me. I said, Katie, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I know what you want. She said, that's right, sir. That's what I want. And they got their way. So I just want to congratulate. These are really special people. They're politicians in many ways, but they're great patriots, I think even more so than politicians. So they fought very hard to get it, and it's an honor to give it to Huntsville. Pete, say a few words, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. As usual, right place, right time, for the right reason. In your first administration, you established the Space Force at a time when we knew we had to be looking to that domain of space. You also reestablished Spacecom to ensure that priority was put in place, and you, through the Air Force, independently identified that Huntsville, Alabama was the right place to put it. For other reasons, in the next administration under Biden, they decided to move it somewhere else. Well, during that time, the DoD Inspector General, the Government Affairs Office, they did their own assessments, and where did they say Spacecom should go? Huntsville, Alabama. So what you're doing today, Mr. President, is restoring it to precisely where it should be based on what the Space Force, the Air Force, your leadership believes will give us strategic advantage in the future. That is Huntsville, Alabama. We are way ahead in space, but this will ensure we stay leaps and bounds ahead, because that's the most important domain. Whoever controls the skies will control the future of warfare. And Mr. President, today you're ensuring that happens. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Katie, would you like to say something?
Mr. President, we are grateful for your leadership on this and restoring Space Command to its rightful home in Huntsville, Alabama. This delegation has worked together, both chambers, both parties, to make sure that Huntsville was the place that Space Command called home. As was mentioned, obviously the Biden administration chose to make this political. What we want to do is put the safety and security of Americans first. We want to make sure that our warfighter is put first, and we want to make sure that America continues to lead. And today, Mr. President, you've allowed that to happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Tommy, please.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. This is a great day for our country, not just for our state of Alabama. We need help in our military.
What happened?
We need to catch up. And as Secretary Hegseth said, we're not behind in space, but we know where we're at, and we need to expound on that. Now, this move will save the taxpayers $480 million. It's not going to cost more. It's going to cut $480 million. We have the plans intact. It'll be behind a secure wall in Huntsville, Alabama, at Redstone Arsenal. We have 40,000 people there. We have the FBI there. We have missile defense there. We have NASA, Blue Origin, and SpaceX. It is the perfect place for Space Command. I would tell you today, and I've spoke with the President for the last 3 or 4 years about this. If I thought it needed to go somewhere else because I understand the security of our country, I'd be for that. But the best place for Space Command is Huntsville, Alabama, because what we have and what it means to this country is going to be so important. So thank you, Mr. President, for this, and we look forward to building a huge Space Command and having the Donald J. Trump Space Command Center in Huntsville, Alabama.
The Donald J. Trump. Boy, Trump puts his name on everything, doesn't he? Think about that. Man, this is going to be amazing. And you know, the Trump has a building named after him. He has places in Israel that he has planned to put casinos and everything named after him. He has a plane named after him. As a matter of fact, you can get his name just about on anything now. You can get it on cups, T-shirts, hats. Most people wearing his hat with Trump on top of their head. There's Trump in their hand and on their forehead. Seems like, yeah, that sounds like he's going to be have a Space Force named after him, Donald J. Trump Space Force, Space Command Center. And wow, that's amazing. His name is probably more embossed on anything, everything more than anybody I've ever known in history. So I don't know. What are you saying there? Here you say Thomas Cena Collins. Yeah. And Christ. Okay, my goodness. Yeah. Well, it seems like you have the mark of the beast, the name of the beast, or the number of his name. The mark of the beast, the name of the beast, or the number of his name. It's very, very, very odd. Either way, I don't know. What do you guys think? Give me your thoughts on it. Let's go back to the video here.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, Mr. President, thank you. I'll be very brief here. I lobbied the president hard to put it in Ohio, but he said these people behind us, these Alabamas, are just too powerful and too persuasive. And so it's in Alabama, but as Tommy said, this is exactly the right place for Space Force and Space Command. I think Americans ought to appreciate the fact that you can't win the battle of the future unless you control the skies. The cyber security, the communications, the entire infrastructure of the battle in the 21st century will be in space. So it was a visionary move in the first administration for the president to set up Space Force, and I think an equally visionary move to make sure that Space Force is right where it should be in Huntsville, Alabama. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Gentlemen, anybody want to say anything? Would you like to say?
Mr. President, another promise made, another promise kept. You think about it, Redstone Arsenal is critical to national security. The president said when you were the 45th president, let's do what's right for national security. And today, that's exactly what we're doing. It's not because of this or that. It's because it's right for national security. You think of the 21 categories that were evaluated to determine what was best for national security. All indicators pointed back to Huntsville, Alabama, and Redstone Arsenal. We have the right people at the right place at the right time. Mr. President, on behalf of the people of the 5th Congressional District and all of Alabama, thank you for keeping your word. Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Anybody?
It's amazing that, just looking at all of these people falling in line with everything that Trump comes up with when it comes to this Space Force. I mean, when they get ready to get behind an idea, it doesn't matter whether they're Democrats or Republicans. Everybody pretty much falls in line when it comes to their agendas. The big question that I have is Space Force really Space Force? Or is it something else? Is this going to be perhaps maybe the beginning of Project Bluebeam? Are they centralizing their power so that they can join up with Elon Musk? Or is this going to be a combination of Elon Musk and Space Force together? Is NASA going to come down and be part of this so that they can centralize their power? That's something to think about, because here we have both parties joining together to support this idea of the Space Force. And the other thing that he was saying is that this is going to help national security, as if national security needs to be protected from some unknown aliens from outer space. Space Force. Think about this. This is a 6th branch of the military, totally unnecessary. Because we don't have outer space. We don't have this thing called outer space or the threat from outer space. If you want to believe in space, that's fine. You want to believe that, we're on a rock and we're spinning around, that's fine. This is whatever you want to believe. But I'm going to say this. You have never seen an alien invasion. So we don't have aliens invading us from outer space. So why are we creating more pressure on the United States budget when we're supposed to be actually reducing the amount of money that is being spent? Taxpayers are going to spend or shoulder the burden of the move. And not only are they going to shoulder the burden of the move, but taxpayers are going to shoulder the burden of the new employees that will be in this new center, along with the facilities and the big contracts that's going to go out to create these big, heavy rockets. And I've heard that, when they create one of these rockets have to have 6 boosters in them just to get outside of the so-called atmosphere of the Earth. If this is one of the things that I came to understand, that when these rockets go up there with all of these millions and millions of pounds of fuel that they have, it takes just about all the fuel that is inside of a rocket to boost it clean up through the atmosphere to get to the realm that they're calling space. Now, I will say this. I do believe that there is a vacuum up there, because, when the higher up you go, if you go up Mount Everest, you're going to start trying to suck air out of a you're not going to be able to breathe. So even when you get up into the higher altitudes in the airplanes, then they have to be pressurized for you to be able to breathe, because you're up there so high. So there is something definitely going on up there. I'm not saying that there is not another realm up there, but who knows how high we have to go in order to reach the firmament, according to what the Bible says, you know. And then, you know, this whole idea behind Space Force just seems to be illogical. I don't know. Let's hear some more of what these guys have to say. It's just interesting here.
Let me just say, Mr. President, I want to say thank you, and thank you for doing
This
this.
is all
because
about Space Force,
It was the
by the
right
way,
thing
too.
to do. All the when they looked at all the numbers, Huntsville was the place to go, and like you say, it was unfortunately pulled out, but you made it right. So I want to just say thank you again for a grateful nation, and to the state of Alabama, we're very grateful. Thank you, and God bless. Thank you.
Thank you, Betty.
Thank you, Mr. President. Throughout history, militaries has always understood that whoever could hold the high ground held the advantage. Space is the ultimate high ground. And what we're doing with moving the Space Command to Huntsville
Okay.
is absolutely critical to our maintaining dominance in that sphere. And it goes hand in hand with what we're trying to do with the Golden Dome and missile defense to defend against anyone else.
What is the
who tries
Golden
to enter that
Dome?
sphere. So thank you, Mr. President.
They keep talking about this Golden Dome. The Golden Dome that they're going to create is already up there. He doesn't need to create another dome. According to the Bible, there's already a dome. God is up there. And, well, you guys know. They've censored me on this channel, so I'll just leave it alone. But again, read my book, Graven Image, and you will know what I'm talking about. So this whole idea behind the Golden Dome is a copy of the image of what God has already created. God has already created a dome of protection over us. There is no alien invasion that is going to happen. But I guess what we're doing now is we're going to give praise to man that he's going to be the one to save us from the aliens. It's absolutely ridiculous. We need to be trusting in God more than we trust in man.
Thank you, Mr. President. And obviously, national defense is a huge issue. And when you look at the scores, Alabama was #1. And for political reasons, it was moved out of our state. But, Mr. President, thank you for making priorities the defense and the warfighter and the safety of this nation. And in the big, beautiful bill, that Golden Dome will be built in Huntsville, Alabama.
Bill.
And we're grateful for that. Thank you.
Listen, as chairman of the Armed Services Committee, I care very much about what's most important for our national security. And the president held a nationwide competition to determine where we should have this command. If y'all remember, at the end of that competition, where Alabama came in first, there was a lot of complaints from the other states who did not place well. He said, we'll do it over with new criteria to accommodate your concerns. Alabama came in first in that second competition. His Secretary of the Air Force reviewed the results, said it was fair, and the president named Huntsville. It was the Biden administration that decided to make it political, even though his own Secretary of the Air Force said it was a fair competition and it should be in Huntsville.
I'm sorry. I got it. I'm sorry. I should not say this, but that is really a bad wig. I'm sorry. Maybe he needs to wear a baseball cap like I'm wearing. or just let it hang out, bro. Well, you know, I don't know. That's a bad wig. Sorry about that. I shouldn't say that. Forgive me, guys who have one like this here.
So I want you to know I appreciate this president standing up and being strong and saying he's going to make this right and put it where it rightfully belongs. That's Huntsville, Alabama.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
So thank you all very much. You are going to leave me alone now. You're not going to call me anymore and talk about this subject, right? You promise? They'll start something else. But I just want to congratulate you. It's a very big deal. When you come out and when you leave the room, you'll see that we just, over the last few minutes, literally shot out a boat, a drug-carrying boat, a lot of drugs in that boat. And you'll be seeing that, and you'll be reading about that. It just happened moments ago, and our great general head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who's been so incredible, including what took place in Iran, knocking out potential nuclear power for a long time to come. I think within a month they would have had it if we didn't do what we did. But he gave us a little bit of a briefing, and you'll see. And there's more where that came from. We have a lot of drugs pouring into our country, coming in for a long time. And we just, these came out of Venezuela and coming out very heavily from Venezuela. A lot of things are coming out of Venezuela. So,
A lot of things
we took
are
it out,
coming out
and
of
you'll get
America.
to see that after this meeting is over. Do you have any questions, please?
Yeah, Mr. President. What exactly is the role of Space Force? What is Space Force going to do to help homeless people? And then, Mr. President, what is Space Force going to do to lower the price of food? And I guess, you know, we're just winning, guys. We're winning. That's what I keep hearing. We're winning. The price of drugs are going to be lowered so low, it's going to be lowered 1,000%. That's what he said, 1,000%. You'll have drugs coming out of your ears. That's what's going to happen. Anyway, I don't know. I have some questions, but what do you guys want to ask the president?
Please.
Senator Tuberville, you talked about the cost savings
Yeah.
associated with this announcement. Can you talk about the strategic benefits by having Space Force Command headquartered in Huntsville?
Well, it just works because we have so much.
A
else
strategic
there.
benefit.
Having a central, you could call it a central command.
What are these guys? The news is crazy. These guys should be asking about what is the benefit, period. How is this going to benefit us at all? Space Force is a farce. We need food. We need shelter. We need to stop BlackRock from taking all of the property from people. What are they going to do about that? What are they going to do about the things that are in clean water and clean air and all of this other stuff that happened to us, even with all of these? Well, according to Texas, when they were doing this operation that they were doing with the rain, the planes that were going over the air, and the guy said he was going to stop doing that. I think he was, how can I put it? He stopped manipulating. I don't know if I can say that. How do they put that? They don't say it's manipulation of the weather. That's weather modification. We need to have more regulation on that. All of the things that need to happen in America, the infrastructure is being destroyed with drugs on the street, crime, all of those things. Yes, we need to handle that. But at the same time, I don't think they're really putting the right effort in the right places. I don't know. What do you guys think? You know, I'm a little bit off on this one. Fallen angels are lost the war against Christ, so now Baal is getting ready to fight Satan and his sons over who rules the earth. Okay. This is now tribulation period. Okay. Let's see. Geoengineering. Is it called geoengineering? Is that a safe term to use? I gotta use the right term for YouTube, because if I don't use the right term, then I could get one of those little things up under my video. And then if I keep using the wrong term, then I could possibly get other sanctions against free speech. We got to get back to the moon. Jeff, are you kidding me? Oh man, you're saying that tongue in cheek. We're going back to the moon, all right. Like Ralph Cramden sent Alice straight to the moon, Alice. No way.
But it really is a command station. Also, even locationally, where it is, and when you think about flying distances, if you can save a half an hour as fast as some of these planes go and things go, and even the rockets go, if you can save by having the best location. So we went out, as you know, to experts, and we had 4 different groups of experts. They all said this was the best location. I also loved it from the standpoint, I know the people of Alabama, they are great people, work hard, and there's no games, and they're very proud of it. And I would say they fought harder for it than anybody else also. A lot of states, 5 states really wanted it, but they wanted it more. And I kid you not when I say that these people, they spoke to me a lot. That's all they wanted to talk about. They didn't want to talk about the weather. They only wanted to talk about moving to this location, moving to Alabama, Huntsville in particular. So
can you see some guy in his basement now, in his mother's basement? Oh, he's so excited about Space Force. And he's decided he's going to go and get his little space helmet and all of his Space Command stuff. He might even try to move to Huntsville, Alabama, just to be near all of the rockets that's going to be taken off from there, supposedly. And I mean, think about it. How many of the young people today are going to buy into this? They're going to be as excited about this as Teen Wolf. You know, it's going to be so exciting. They're going to be coming out just like they did at the Star Trek convention, wearing the green earring, the green ears, and dressed like Spock. And, you know, yeah, a bunch of Q-tards. I love it. Q-tard. I mean, just think about it. How long does it take for a person to get common sense? How many years will it take? Some people will never wake up. There are going to be people out there, and they're going to be dancing around with the red, white, and blue USA out there and looking at these bottle rockets go up in the sky, expend all of their energy trying to just get up there, and then all of a sudden they're going to cut the feed, and then they're going to go to the feed where you see it on camera, and everybody's going to go, oh, space. I don't know. Yeah, Space Force. You know what kind of training do they do to become part of the Space Force? What kind of training do you take? Do you have to run? Do you know how to swim? You know, it's not like these people are gonna actually become well, what do you call those guys that are really Green Beret and Navy SEALs? Now, those are really some tough people. But I mean, you know, I think they did have a sitcom on Netflix, or one of them, where they had the guy pretending to be Space Force. It was Steve Carell. They knew it was funny. They knew it was a joke. Well, I don't know. It might be real. Let me just leave it alone.
We're honored to do it. They really wanted it badly, and they got it. Peter?
President Trump, something completely different, but about a big viral social media trend over the weekend. How did you find out over the weekend that you were dead? You see that?
No.
People didn't see it for a couple days. 1.3 million user engagements as of Saturday morning about your.
Now, why did that even come up?
Really? I didn't.
There we go again.
You know, I have heard it's sort of crazy, but
there they go again. They're pushing the narrative that Trump was dead. It's not us. They're doing that. They're doing that. Thank you for the super chat. God bless. Yeah, they are doing that. It's just ridiculous. Pure character dancing under rain of confetti, taking his hat off and say, "You are amazing." Okay. You know, it's ridiculous. I believe that they are pushing this from the inside. Trump knows that they have been saying that he's dead. Trump knows all of this stuff, and I covered that this morning. I think it's a psyop, guys. I don't know. I don't trust them. I don't trust them. I don't trust them not one bit, because it just seems like they are. Why would this guy even bring it up? Have you heard that you were supposed to be dead? Now you're here, President Trump. That's a stupid question. Why even bring it up?
Last week I did numerous news conferences, all successful. They went very well, like this is going very well. And then I didn't do any for 2 days, and they said there must be something wrong with him. Biden wouldn't do them for months. You wouldn't see him. And nobody ever said there was ever anything wrong with him, and we know he wasn't in the greatest of shape. No, I heard that. I get reports. Now, you knew I did an interview that lasted for about an hour and a half with somebody, and everybody saw that was on one of your competitors. I did numerous shows, and also did a number of truths, long truths, I think pretty poignant truths. No, I was very active over the weekend. They also knew I went out to visit some people at the club that I own, pretty nearby on the Potomac River. And no, I've been very active actually over the weekend. I didn't hear that one. That's pretty serious stuff. Well, it's fake news. You know, it's just it's so fake. That's why the media has so little credibility. I knew they were saying, like, is he okay? How's he feeling? What's wrong? I said, I just left. And it's also sort of a longer weekend, you know, it's Labor Day weekend. So I would say a lot of people know I was very active this Labor Day.
Okay, so we know that. But here's the thing. There's something behind it. There's something behind all of this talk, what they've been pushing. There's something behind all of this. And, you know, just kind of looking at this whole thing, it is a farce. The whole thing is a farce. Space Force, the death farce, the last Trump, you know, and then the rapture of September. All of this is to get us discombobulated. Let's see. Did he pardon Ghislaine? You know, is that what's going on? I don't know. It's definitely a cover up for something else. All of these things are smoke and mirror for other things. It just seems like, in my humble opinion. You guys let me know what you think. Keep sharing the video. I'm going to get out of here. I hear the dinner bell calling me, so I'm going to go and get some chow. Either way, God bless. And I'll talk to you guys later. God bless.